What if humans lived for eternity? Ever since Adam and Eve were banished from the garden, people have dreamed of gaining immortality. In search of the elixir of youth, wizards have cooked toad skin or snake liver in boilers, but in vain. Alchemists mixed gold and cinnabar into cakes, but those treats did not extend anyone's years. Ponce de Leon searched the New World for the fountain of youth, yet even he was forced to succumb to a poisoned arrow. Throughout the ages, people have lived relatively brief lives. There is even a specific blessing in Psalm 128:6, "May you live to see your children's children." Only now, in the 21st century, have scientists come close to the clue of immortality. Perhaps tomorrow we would stop envying Highlander's character, Duncan MacLeod, since we ourselves, like this movie hero, might become eternal. What would happen if mankind's cherished dream were to turn into a reality? But before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Buddy Panda, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. That being said, let's begin. We can find in nature amazing creatures living incredibly long. For example, the Galapagos giant tortoise can live more than 150 years. The bowhead whale and the Pacific Ocean perch can live beyond 200 years. The Antarctic sponge breaks all the records, reaching an age of 20,000 years. And hydras are able to regenerate their bodies countless times, that is, almost endlessly. According to evolutionary biology professor Michael Rose, we may be able to outrun many of these centurions. In 20 to 40 years, each of us may be able to live 1,000 or more years longer than our current life expectancy. Genetic engineering, for example, may help extend our stay in this world. Scientists have discovered that counters called telomeres are hidden in human cells, and our lifespan limit depends on them. Telomeres are located at the end of chromosomes, storing all the genetic information of the body and protecting this priceless natural archive from damage. For comparison, most often there are solid tips at the end of shoelaces that keep the threads from fraying. Telomeres work the same way. They defend chromosomes from destruction. But with each division of cells, telomeres get shorter. When they become too small, cells begin to age and eventually die. And so, scientists at Stanford University's School of Medicine have found a way to artificially lengthen the telomeres. Scientists have also discovered cell signaling and transcription, without which life extension would be impossible. It turns out that any path to eternity is already open. Or is it? The problem seems to be that the high activity of telomeres is observed in most cancer cells. In other words, the inclusion of the mechanism for their lengthening would lead to oncological diseases. However, science seems to be on the verge of solutions to this problem. Last year, scientists at Harvard Medical School tried to build telomeres more slowly than in previous experience and had no side effects, including the occurrence of cancer, were discovered with this method. However, the lengthening of telomeres may not be the only path to immortality. Scientists are already cloning plants and animals from other stem cells. In the near future, they promise to be able to stamp countless copies from stem cells to human copies without problems. It would give humanity unprecedented opportunities. An immortal human would be able to plant an oak grove and see how it thrives after 500 years. With a tunnel of twigs turning into huge trees, he could enthusiastically observe what successes are achieved by his great-grandchildren's own great-grandchildren. He would have time to master all the professions that interest him and implement projects designed for centuries. In short, the golden age of humanity would arrive. Or perhaps on the contrary, immortality would lead to disaster. There is an opinion that eternity would not bring any more happiness to humanity, as it is contrary to nature. Life is arranged so that elderly people should be replaced by youth, active and courageous, full of new ideas. This might not happen in an immortal society. Humanity might immediately face overpopulation of the planet. In order to maintain a sufficient level of life, some societies might choose to limit or even completely eliminate fertility. As a result, the Earth's population would age into a cluster of elderly people, wise but conservative, exhausted by the routine of daily life and endless work and even diverse hobbies. And what would happen with those people who would never learn the joy and sacrifice of parenting? They would be left with no means to overcome vice or self-centeredness. Think of a world without a delight of seeing every fragrant flower and chirping bird and babbling stream through a child's eyes, as seeing it for the first time. In a few centuries, such a society would likely degrade, and our civilization would disappear. And what if everything would be the other way around? In the near future, life expectancy may be reduced up to 20 years. This opinion was expressed by Irina Chukeva, the honored doctor of the Russian Federation. According to Chukeva, while scientists are chasing the immortality formula, harmful microbes are also busy. These microscopic monsters are going through billions of mutations and attacking people with renewed vigor. Clearly, the general population is unprepared for such an attack. As a result, we are powerless in the face of the army of invisible microbe brutes. The fact is that from 1940 to the 1950s, doctors developed more than 50 types of antimicrobials. However, today these developments have lost much of their relevance. Over the past 20 years, scientists have invented only 2 new antibiotics that are not capable to resist the onslaught of mutants. So, according to EU statistics, with the availability of one of the most common nosocomial infections, intestinal significantly increased. As a result, the number of fatal infections has increased significantly. Finally losing the war against harmful microorganisms, we could possibly quickly return to the brief life expectancy rates of the Neanderthals. Or maybe we shouldn't be afraid of supergerms and other deadly misfortunes. Nanorobots, no larger than an atom, would help people maintain health and youth. These tiny assistants have already begun to be introduced into the human body for the treatment of tumors. Soon, medical scientists promise to turn these smart babies into universal healers. Need to cleanse the blood from harmful bacteria? Nanorobots would inject the medicine directly into the affected cells. Or if someone needs to replace a part of the spine due to trauma, the invisible healers would deliver titanium into the body, replacing the broken vertebrae with metal. Although the technology is available, can we use the services of such miracle doctors? Currently, nanotreatment is very expensive and affordable only for those who are able to spend tens of thousands of dollars. According to some estimates, only the wealthiest 10% of the planet's population can afford this method. The treatment might not become affordable anytime soon. It turns out that the nano elixir of youth would be a lot like an elite circle of moneybags. Such wealthy magnates would likely sit forever in their huge palaces, and much like the Slavic legend of Kochai the Immortal, they would ceaselessly guard and increase their treasures. Meanwhile, the rest of the planet's inhabitants would simply watch them with envy and fear. But maybe fate won't be so unfair to us. According to one theory, after a maximum of 40 years, all of humanity would be able to taste the rejuvenating apples. Science would present this gift in the form of electronic civilization. They would create it very simply, by reloading our consciousness into a computer and booting it up. And this idea has already gained several supporters. Millionaire Dmitry Iskov even planned to upload his brain data to a holographic body in 2045. And anyone who wants to do this would be able to, because the digitization of the consciousness would not require any special cost. Electronic heroes would have incredible abilities. It wouldn't be difficult for computer Homo sapiens in a split second to download tremendous knowledge to the brain, to gain heroic power, to travel along the bottom of the oceans and move to other planets. Digitalized beings won't require food, shelter, air, or even an eco-friendly environment. The electronic man would in a way be angelic, pure spirit. He would be able to resist the most powerful weapons because he would have no body which could be harmed. So, physical warriors would be a thing of the past. Digital people could also easily change their appearance. Want to become a 5-meter Atlant? Then please help yourself. You could even quickly create the biggest avatar on the computer. You want to become a bear? Then the ephemeral body of the animal would be ready in 5 minutes. The physical reality of man and woman, indeed, of humanness itself, would cease entirely. The old adage, just be yourself, would disappear from common language to be replaced with just be whatever you want. But what if all this is a big deception? What if non-reality could not actually be a reality? Many scientists believe that the digital brain would be able to store any information accumulated by man, but it would remain only a copy that would not be able to perfectly reproduce the original. Much like taking a picture of a picture, the copy would not be as clear and resolute as the original. For example, an electronic creature is likely to be completely devoid of emotions. It would not be able to admire the sunset or the aura. It would remain indifferent to the birds singing and to the divine taste of an apple plucked right from the branch. And when meeting digital boys and girls, their heartbeats would not quicken. And not only because they literally would have no hearts, but because the holographic creatures would simply not have an understanding of what it means to love. In short, they would be robotic and not at all human. They could only work at improving the civilization without experiencing any of its pleasures. So, is it worthwhile to strive for such a future, or would such efforts be futile? That's it for this release. Please write in the comments section how many years people should live and why. If you liked this video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to Buddy Panda and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Click to check other cool videos right now. See you next time.